I've never made a movie of this scale ever before. So I made this film in my last semester of school called There's Someone in the House. It's a film that I directed and wrote, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the experience that I had making the film and kind of why I think making your passion projects is worth it, even though it's hard. And I'm not gonna lie, this project was extremely hard to make. I mean, movies are extremely hard to make, but there was a lot of obstacles in the way. There was a lot, for sure. First off, I was writing this script on my own. I didn't get a script from anyone. I didn't know anyone who had written a script that I could turn into a movie, so I decided to write my own. Again, I don't think I'm a good writer, so yeah, I felt like the dialogue wasn't going to be as strong. I also wanted to tell a story about something that I felt like connected to myself, but I often don't feel like I'm very connected to myself because I feel very like floaty and dissociated. I wanted to tell something that I could relate to a lot and that would be easy for me to tell. So this project was supposed to be part of my thesis for my degree, pretty much, where a bunch of students pretty much like pitched their ideas for a film, and then a body of like faculty and professors would decide on which ones were the best to create into films for the end of the year. I was under the impression for a long time that my film was going to be selected because of how small my class was and how many we thought were going to be selected. So I was under the impression for a long time that it was going to, but turns out it wasn't, which came as a shock to everyone, honestly. But yeah, the project wasn't accepted in the school, which meant that I would get none of the funding that was provided to the projects that were made. I would have no gear rental from the school, and my film would not be part of the official screening at the end of the semester. All of these things really help film to help like fund your film and like to actually get it done. Like gear rentals are not cheap. Like it's not cheap at all. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed, but honestly, like I didn't want to complain because I had the opportunity to pitch mine and everyone thought it was a good idea. So I didn't want to like seem ungrateful. I had already invested some money into the film already because we made a proof of concept, and I was very confident and very certain that my film was going to be one of the ones selected. So I was okay with sinking some money thinking that it would be refunded in the end for this project. I spent a very large amount of money to make this. I kind of expected that I would be spending a lot of money to make the film, but I did spend a lot of money, which for a short film, you don't really get a lot in return, or like an independent film like that, unless you like market it really, really well. It's a little tougher, especially if you're just starting out, but I mean, I kind of had that expectation going in that I was going to spend a lot of money on it, but still wasn't easy, so. My film is also set in the late 80s, early 90s, so it's very hard finding locations. I mean, it was a house that we shot in, but it's very hard finding houses that just fit that time frame. A lot of houses are like over modernized, especially where I live, so with white walls and like, it was just very difficult, so my art department had to get very creative. And honestly, they did an amazing job, but like it was very difficult. And not only that, my film was also, we submitted it to a ton of film festivals, but it was not accepted into a lot of the film festivals that we submitted the film into, which is disappointing, not just for me, but for my crew, because I want our work to be shown off to the rest of the world, so that and also for people around to be able to see it and see the message that is being portrayed. So that was a ton of really, really bad things that did happen with the film, but it wasn't all bad. To be honest, I had more good experiences making this than not. There were so many rewards. As I mentioned, the film wasn't accepted at the school for one of the selected films to be screened at the end of the semester. But my friends and my classmates also were under the same impression, so they urged me to make the film anyways. And that they would have my back and that they would support me. Honestly, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have made it. I was feeling pretty down about it, but everyone that was willing to work on my crew still said that they were going to work on my crew anyways, and thank you guys so much. Like, literally without them, like, I wouldn't be able to make this. It was There were so many people that worked on it, and I had such a great time on it. With their support as well, we were able to talk to the school and come to an agreement, and I was still able to get gear rentals from the school, which saved our budget a ton. And I was also able to screen my film at the end of the semester with the other films, which was just great, honestly. We didn't get some of the funding that was provided to the other films, but that was perfectly fine. I was totally okay with just getting the gear rentals and just being able to show the film alongside the other ones, and just be able to just spend that time with my classmates, you know, like making a movie. For this film, I was also able to get like a really solid crew. Like I had friends that I had been wanting to work with on a film for a really long time. Like my camera team was just amazing. The art department was incredible, even though we had to do so much for that. Props team, just everyone, even like my producer was just incredible, honestly. Like shout out to him, love him so much. Because like so many things were taken care of on a lot of aspects on the film, like my camera team kind of knew what they were doing, the art department were doing really well. Like I was able to have one of the best directing experiences that I've had in my life. I've directed a couple of other films while I've been in film school, but this was honestly the best directing experience. I was able to really focus on like the message and kind of the overall feeling of what I wanted the film to be and how I wanted the actors to portray their characters. Like I didn't have to worry about many other things. It also made me realize like how much more I could do as a director and what I could do better next time and how I wanted to improve and just things that I could have developed better for my characters. It was honestly, I had so much fun on this film. Like it was the best experience ever. And like I mentioned, even though I spent a lot of money on this film's budget, half of it was covered by crowdfunding from friends, family, and other friends and family of like my crew as well. So like I still spent a ton of money on it, but like it really took a huge dent out of like how much we invested into it. Like I mentioned before, a lot of friends participated in the crew for the film. I honestly felt like the set was like a really welcoming environment. I would hope so. We had really good food on set for lunches. My producer's mom was able to make us food for everyone, and she did an amazing job because it was like healthy food. It was homemade. It was really good. So what did I learn from all this? I mean, not everything was perfect. I spent a lot of money, hardship, time, and I was honestly pretty worried and afraid of how this entire thing was going to turn out because it can be overwhelming, especially when I feel like a lot of people are kind of like depending on you to like make this come to life. But in the end, everyone pulled their weight and like helped, you know, make this happen, and in a fun way, you know, like we had a great time on set, and I'm honestly really proud of the final product of what came out. I'm so excited to show it to you guys because I don't know, I think a lot of people will be able to relate. I also gained a lot of experience as well with this film. I gained a lot of community, a lot of fulfillment. I didn't only participate in my film, there was also 2 other films that happened during this time. So we were pretty close-knit around that time. And of course, not everything was perfect. There was a lot of obstacles that were in the way, of course, but I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. Like, it was the best time I've ever had. All of the projects I've worked on, honestly, have been so fulfilling, and they have all led up to the point where I am at now. And I can't wait to do something like this again, even though it is tough and you really have to like scramble and figure out how to make it work, but it is just really fulfilling. I gained everything I had pretty much back in experience, community, and the fulfillment of making something bigger than all of us. Anyways, I just wanted to share my experience on this a little bit more because I know passion projects can be extremely overwhelming and they can sometimes be really hard to make, but even if it's hard, I think it's still worth it to try. If you enjoyed watching the behind the scenes and me talking about the process of this film, the film that I'm talking about, There's Someone in the House, is going to be released on YouTube, on this YouTube channel, on September 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing a bit more content on the film here, so you guys can kind of see like the process and everything that kind of went into it. Leading up to the release of the film on September 26th. If you guys want to follow any updates on the film, follow us at Someone in the House Movie on Instagram. And if you want to see what I'm doing. Also, in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram or stay tuned here to watch the next video. Cool.